Welcome to Fun with Clay. Today I want to make a simple vase with you, and we need to roll out a slab of clay, and we need a doily in a box. And we also need a pipe and a doily and the rolling pin. This rolling pin was my grandmother's, Toni, and she used to make delicious Apfelstrudel and cookies with it, and I'm using it now in my pottery. And of course we need a piece of clay. I always have it wrapped in some plastic, and need the first one and wrap the other again. And it's quite wet, and I compress it a little bit, turn it to the other way, and I will roll out a piece of clay to make a slab. I squeeze behind the table that I can hold the cloth and that I can roll out the clay. I always move it away from me, but this means I have to turn it regularly. The slab shouldn't be too thin. This is our first project with slab work, so don't overdo it. As thinner it is, the harder it will become to work with it. I prepared and put the newspaper around the pipe, and a vase like this, high like this, it would be really a challenge. So we should start smaller, and even smaller than the newspaper. And as a template, I think it would be good to use just a piece of copy paper, and when I wrap it around, it will just go around. It has a little bit overlapping, but in your measurement you have to calculate that the clay has a thickness, and it's better too big than too small. I think the height would be a really challenge, so I will fold it, and I think this is going to be high enough. It will get a little bit higher when we add the bottom of it. And so I need a piece of clay in this size, and it's clay. Press it down a little bit and it will stick. I cut the clay out with a normal kitchen knife. I use my Swiss kitchen knife, but it stays in my pottery now. Just cut it. The bigger piece I will keep for the bottom, and I always try to use everything, and so I will put the leftovers back in my plastic container. So it was a little bit bigger, so I can just have the knife in a 45 degrees angle and cut it here carefully, and cut it on the other side again, 45 degrees. And when we do the overlapping, it won't, okay, turn it, I have to hold it like this. The overlapping won't be thicker than the other clay. Just try to, roll it away and put it in the box. with the doily I want to put a pattern in it. Later on when I glaze it, the glaze will go into the pattern and leave the other part with less glaze. So I will just do a little bit and I press it in with my rubber kidney. Check it a little bit because you won't be able to find the same place again. So I want a good imprint. Do it again. So the clay is very wet, so I should have a little break, have a coffee, and then it will stiffen up. And if I want to place it outside, it's still sunny outside, so I should put also the piece for the bottom in the sun, and I will come back to it later. I put the rolled out clay away, that we have enough room here to prepare the pipe for the next step. It's also good, it can dry a little bit, not too long. So I wrap a piece of newspaper around my pipe. This will help me getting the pipe out when I have put the clay around the pipe. Otherwise it would really stick. It's secured with a little bit of masking tape or sellotape. That's ready. So it should be a little bit bigger than the vase actually, and you see I can move it along. So this is to move it later on along with the clay. If you put it right on the pipe, you won't get the pipe out and you can only destroy your vase. So I had a little break and let the clay dry a little bit, but it's still workable and I can adjust a little bit upright and with the newspaper, and then I place the clay around it and tap it a little bit. Avoid to crack it. It's just fitting. So now I need my slip. No, snow water on the top. And I put it on both sides. I still use my brush to put it really into the rims, because this is the secret. The slip has to be in all those little crevices created by the scratching. And now it looks that the pipe is tight in it, and I just roll it over the other side of the clay. I support it with my bed, and I think I will cut a little bit off here where both ends did meet. It's a little bit thicker now, and on the bottom end of the border, and go over this again. Here, scratch it for the bottom. This is the rest of the clay. I'm going to put my mark on it. I made a little stamp and turn it. Then I place it here and I make a little line that I know where to put the scratch marks and the slip. I hold it mostly in here, bring it over. I actually could see the imprint. I still don't cut. Oops, here's the slip. You can use a brush, you can use a toothbrush, you can use your finger. But when you use your finger, then you have really dirty fingers. And I slip the other side. And I place it on this gourd and slipped things. And I'm moving it a little bit, that it's really find the way into the other part. That's really the bottom. And now I can take out the pipe. I can use it again. So, and now it's time to cut it. I can use a knife, but in this case I prefer to use a needle. I make a little cut here and here and here, so it's then easier to take it away. And with a needle you just follow the shape of the cylinder. And I have the first piece off. And now I combine with knife fingers. I move the base into the vase, into the wall. Take off a little bit of clay, but you could also use it for design, that the bottom is a little bit thicker than the other part. I'll also put a little bit of slip inside. So here you can see, don't make the vase too big, because you can't reach inside. And I really tap it, that it's good combined. And clean it up a little bit. I wet my finger a little bit and try to hide the inside where we have the overlapping. A little bit. So I think I'm happy with this side. Now I'm turning it. Make it wet a little bit again. And smooth this side. So, and we have our vase ready.